Hi guys, this is Allison from AllyKat Creations. How are you? Hi everybody. Sorry, pop-up chats. Link's not working. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And if you get anything from my work, a connected dot, an epiphany, a mind explosion, a new book to read, a new author to explore, artwork to create, please consider supporting my work. All the links will, after the live, will be down in the description. And AllyKat Creations 211 is where you could see all the artwork that I do. Uh, yay. Um, so check me out there. And if you would like anything to purchase, please email me because broke is the joke of the day. Hang on, I gotta get a sip of coffee. I needed that. 3D memberships. I only have one tier. It's just a really nice, cheap way to support me and this channel so I can keep going and keep things up and alive. And a thanks back to everybody is you basically get a free member channeled reading once a week. I try. It won't be coming this week. I have to figure it out where to fit it in because I'm going to be at a vending event on Saturday. And but you get free entries into any one of the raffles that I put out. So you could be a winner. Chicken dinner. Chicken dinner. So yeah, so it's a nice way to support me in the channel, and you do get some stuff back. It's not like multi-tiered, and I mean eventually I'll get there. But I'll explain that in a minute. Hi, Scott. Hi, Charlene. Hi, Blazing. Okay. So on Saturday, last Saturday, I didn't put a video out because I actually went live on Turn the Page with Janine in place of Buckshot. And the guys really liked me a lot that I've been now asked to come back for some shows. So I'm really excited about this. And on Saturday, after my vending event, I think 5 Central, I'm going to go live with Arnie, who does Oracle cards. He does pop up in the chat every once in a while. So really excited. I don't know where it's going to go, but our conversation was fantastic that last Saturday show. So go check it out on Turn the Page with Janine or TTP News on YouTube. So I don't know if I'm sick or this is allergies because I have a kid out in my classroom with the flu and like 3 other kids were out with illness. Everybody's dripping boogers out of their noses. The stomach virus is now going around. Thankfully, I don't have any of that. But I am coughing. And no, it's not because of my tobacco. Hi, Mr. Roger. Hi guys. So I got a text message from Miss Dina that Tara was going to put on a show today with an animal medium and that they would love for me to jump on. So at 3 o'clock, as I am running out of my building, I get stuck behind school buses and finally made it home. Hi, Ash Maya. I literally just ran and got my microphone because you need a microphone for StreamYard, and Tara put me on, and the medium red Odin. She's legit. Anita is legit. I saw her energy. She was tapping right into Odin and validated that I crossed him over and that he's an animal guide, and I kind of knew that. But it's nice to have another person validate for you what you do. Because I could tell you guys I could cross animals over. I mean, I could cross you, I crossed my mother over. And we all have that ability. But it's nice to know that I crossed Odin over and he knew it, he felt it, and it helped him. Um, yeah, that woman is absolutely legitimate. I've had readings by a numerous amount of people, and she was spot on. And not to say that other people aren't, but her ability is very advanced. She taps into a very distinct portion of the ether that she's getting her information from. I was watching it. It's beautiful how her process is great. So I would tend to say, please, if you're interested in animal communication, live or passed on, transcended, go check out Sacred Valley, and Anita's information will be there. I don't know how much she charges, but it's always nice to be gifted something like that. And that all my cats want me to get tattooed. Ethan and Morgan were talking, like, seriously. Ethan was like, you have to give me a tattoo. Why am I already not on your leg? Like, I have a leg for males and females. It's funny as shit. Um, so very, very blessed that Dina allowed me and Tara to come on. That was really sweet of them. They didn't have to. Um, love children with boogers. Love children with boogers. Yes. So so after the reading, and I'm watching, I don't know, it's hard with the pink neon lights, but my face was so red, like I got a sunburn. And I don't look pretty when I get sunburned. And I wore a dress to work because it was cold this morning, but it's like 70 something degrees out. And I'm like, oh, let me wear a dress today and I'll put some like light things underneath so that it could breathe. Oh no, I sweated right throughout everything. So I had to change. And my really good friend Katie got me some overalls. She's like, you don't really look like you're from Indiana just yet until you have a pair of overalls. I bought you these. Enjoy. I'm like, oh, thanks. Thanks. Um, so yeah, hi, El Sunray. So for the job front, I I'm going to re-email in a different format because they did it off a text edit, and they didn't realize it's off a Word that they read everything from. So everything looks like a fucking, yeah, these are just really light, and I like army green, even though it's more I don't know what color this like what I would describe this as. Army green. But I my white shirt is not so white anymore, so I put on a gray thermal. And here we are. Hi, Amy. So I'm actually waiting for Tara's show to upload so that I can go back to the chunk and like re-listen. Because when you're listening live, you kind of miss some stuff. So I want to see if I missed anything. But yeah, Odin is my spirit guide. I kind of knew it. And likes Odin, the name that I changed it to. And then he came here to basically drop Freya off at my doorstep. Obviously, I went to a cat cafe and adopted him. Um, And he knew that I was crossing him over, and that to me was like everything I needed to know. That validated the woman too. Um, you know, she didn't know me from a hole in the wall, so how would she know if I have abilities unless she tapped into that? But ravens, I don't see ravens here, but Odin, Sir Odin, I'm connected very much to the Norse. I haven't had overalls in a long time, and my friend Katie, I don't, I guess she goes on Sheen and Hamu to go do some shopping, and the clothes are really cheap. So she when she orders for herself, she sends me something. She's like, "Look, this was $10. Enjoy. You need a wardrobe upgrade. Hello, girl. You're gonna hopefully do better in life, and you need to dress the part." So, hi, Gregory. Oh, that's so sad, El Sunray. Oh, I would have texted Tara if you had a question. I know Ashmaya had gotten some answers and Scott. I'm really happy that they were opened, and deplorable Wendy got answers too. That I was like pressing in it without pressing it in the chat. Because I've been on with Tara before. Um, I I guess I this is one of those things spiritually that like I haven't proved to her, like proved to certain people yet of my abilities, but that's okay. You don't need to believe in any of the things that I say. um and anybody that was on that watched Janine, myself and Arnie and Joey G, like Hula Hoop asked a question about her daughter and I was spot on. So it's not that I can't, if I get a message, I get a message. Yay! Wendy got an answer. I'm so happy that Tara was able to do that for you. Yay! I was so sweaty. I went outside, I took some pictures, and I grounded my ass before I came here because I'm still hot. And I don't have a fever or anything, don't worry. So Saturday I have a vending event at a junior high school. And I have to give kind of like a donation for a bank, like a raffle box or a raffle basket. So I might do one of the little signs that I have, and then maybe a candle with like a little heart business card holder, because I have a lot of those. So I'm trying to think what paint color I want on the outside of here before I do the flower thing in here. Oh yeah, she was spot on with Odin, and I kind of knew it. It's just nice to be validated because I said I passed him over. And then my other two cats, like Morgan never met. Obviously, they both passed away. My other two cats that passed in 24 and 23, they passed on before they even knew Odin and Freya. Um, so I knew those two were going to be together. But I have four on the other side, you know. But it's nice to know that Odin's my guy, one of my animal guides. But once again, this is something that I want to implore on a lot of you. When you have a innate knowing for another culture or for a destination, a place, mythology, don't just leave it as, oh, that's just my interest. 14, now it's like 14 years ago. My ex, that I'm now like the narcissist and I'm the empath, he kind of told me I have to choose a path. And I chose a spiritual path because I was going back and forth with different like things. But I really focused my spirituality in the Norse pagan traditions because I had so many past, well, carnations that are concurrently happening right now. And I have a fractal of Freya in me. I was shown my giant form in Asgard. So I could be making this up in hallucinations, or I have spirit guides who are wolves. One of them particularly happens to be Odin, and the other two is Gary and Freki, which is Odin's wolves. And then today, she kept saying ravens. There's two ravens. Well, Odin has Hugin and Munin, memory and thought. So there's no accidents of why I named Freya and Odin. There is no accidents for little Thor. There is no accidents to why things happen the way they happen and transpire. So if you feeling down deep inside, you have an affinity for a culture or something you can't really put your finger on, but you know that you're connected, don't ignore that. That's just helping you guide to another life that you are living right now, or potentially have in linear space you lived, or you're not consciously aware of, but it's there. So, guys, I know I'm gonna craft. I do promise, because I gotta get crafting done, but I'm not channeling what color yet. Okay, so hi, Corey. So there's this guy who's a sub that comes into my room and helps out because I'm down again a para. So he's super tall. And he came in the other day with a military backpack. And I knew this wasn't something from Amazon. Like it was legitimate military backpack. So I asked him, I'm like, were you in the service? And he goes, oh yeah, I just had a medical honorable discharge. I was in the US Army and I was with the Rangers. I was going to do special forces and I did all this other stuff. And then he goes, they don't tell all the civilians the real stuff that's going on. Then he made the comment that he's like, why do you think you saw the moon this morning? Like, isn't that a hint? My jaw drop was like, ah, yes. Then I was like, oh, what do you think about Antarctica? And he goes, yeah, well, I saw it and I saw that we're living in a dome. The Simpsons had it right. Okay, so this is a young guy in his early 20s. And my school is very in thinking. So for him to start, like, I guess I made him feel comfortable with like asking him like what branch. And I was like, oh, that's like a lot of stuff is my wheelhouse. And then he's like, oh yeah, Area 51. I'm like, but it's not there, it's S2. And he goes, how would you know that? And I'm like, what about the dumbs underneath the, and he goes, he knew things. He knew things. So then I showed him the Trump, the auto pen and the Trump. And he goes, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. And then I asked him, I'm like, for reals, I don't care what side of the fence vote on, not my business. But I said to him, did you ever see in a commissary, because he was in Korea, Kim Jong-un's soldiers shot at his team, and that's why he had to have medical discharge. He was in Korea and a few other places. And so I asked him like some crazy questions. I said, when you're overseas, and I said, a lot of my liberal military friends, I have a lot of them, they never answered my question. Will you? Have you ever seen when you're out there, he came in with Trump and he left with Trump. Well, but I said, was Biden's picture ever in a commissary or in, when you go to your military bases and halls and your superior officers' offices? Like, have you ever seen that? Like, you're supposed to have a presidential portrait. And he goes, no, never Biden. So this is somebody I just literally had met. We call him Coach. And he's just been a substitute in my school, and me just inquiring and being inquisitive about the backpack that he was bringing into work. I was like, oh, thank you for your service. You should pass by my house one day. I have flags everywhere. Um, thank you. And he was just like, yeah, we live in a dome. It's a firmament. It's not what you think it is. And there's a lot of shit that they're not telling civilians. And he's like, and I wasn't even like in a higher class to not know. So this just dude that just randomly fell into my classroom kind of confirmed some stuff. And I guess my assumption with my liberal friends that really equates to the other side but was in the military, like, I guess they don't feel comfortable speaking about them having a perception of wrongness. And not to say that any of their perceptions were wrong, but like what you're being told is a fabrication. And he even said, he's like, we it's not necessarily a flat earth as the flat earthers describe it. He goes, there is a spherical shape, but it's not what you think. It's more toy. I call it a torus, the toroidal field. And he goes, yeah, and there's lots of lands beyond the wall. And he's like, you don't want that dome coming up so quick because we haven't dealt with what really goes on in the depths and out on the outskirts of that dome. So I asked him, I was like, did Game of Thrones get it right? And he goes, absolutely. And that bides to me the confirmation for me when the interdimensional beings, I had a vivid dream, and it wasn't a vivid, it was me going in my light body. But I can only describe it to you guys that you can understand it as, my physical body's asleep and I'm out like in my awareness, in my consciousness, going in tunnels with two light beings, and then going through, standing on a portal. It looked like a pad that you stand on, and it kind of densified me. And then I went through a little bit of a wormhole, and then I ended up in my giant self as Freya in Asgard, and I got a little glimpse of like that reality. So when he's talking about like what's beyond the dome, right? And we could just call it the matrix, the hologram, if you want to term it that way scientifically. Would we want the dome up if I'm now like 8 to 25 feet tall in giant form? Do I want those things in my human body? No. And that's not to say that's in the same density as we're in, but as we're evolving and our DNA is shifting and our etherical DNA is activating, but we're still in the process of shifting. We're not there in those states yet. Do I want the Giants to just break down the dome and hi? And we also have to figure we still live in duality up to 5. 4 is where we kind of get the concept of where I'm already at, where you need to fade the hate and the shame and black and white. It fades because it's an illusion, it's needed here to learn from, but it's not going to serve you once you get to like full octave 5-6. It's not going to serve you any purpose. You don't need that duality anymore because you're all in unity. And that's a process a lot of people are very much stuck in right now, is still in the process of like, oh, I know, but I can't just yet. And that's okay. That's okay. 4 is the bridge. So here's the drawbridge. You're in 3. Here's your little self. Here's 4. And many of us are like at this top of this bridge trying to get it to come down so all of you can walk this way. And here's 5D in the ether. Yay. But the bridge is still up and it might be a little tilted. So, absolutely, Corey, right place, right time. You know, source, because I am a service to source. I am an incarnate of the ascended angels, and not just them. I'm totally on board with having Octurians coming and being me. On board. The stuff that I have been talking about for years, Daniel Scranton channels. It gives me chills. And even the lady, Anita, that was on Tara's show today, like, you're just validating everything I did for Odin. Thank you. Like, I'm not crazy. We need tangible evidence for things. And I totally understand that that's a human perception, human need, that we need to label and give names to things to make it make sense in our brains. But when you start elevating, you don't necessarily need that anymore. How can I prove to you I could see ghosts? I can't unless I take a photograph and show you, and I've done that. It's not easy. Some people need that tangible, like, physical evidence. So my art studying brain needs a contrast color, but I don't know if I want a contrast color to green. Yeah, Corey, that's a good statement. And here's what when I on Saturday, what I was talking about with Ernie, because he's very much in my thinking. Hi, Christina. The thinking is, when it comes to information, what is actually renting space in your brain, and is it serving you? If it's not serving you, you let it go and let it go outside, because you don't need to absorb it. I think I'm at I stopped. I had my spirit. This is upstairs kicking my ass. This is not me, ego. Upstairs really put a boundary up and said, listen, like, you have to stop and get the hate, shame, and blame out of your ears, out of your head. It perpetuates energy that we can't have you around right now. Not to say that I can't listen to something or be interested in something or research something. They're just like, all right, let it sit up here. If it serves you, it's going to come down. If it's not, it's going to go fly away over there. Why do we need to rent? have things run space in our head that's not serving your greatest good? And at what point are we stopping ourselves from creating the momentum for this bridge to drop to get to 5? We can't bypass 4. We all, as a collective, have to ascend together. So many of us are waiting up here for more of you because you're needed. Everybody's needed. Once more people get up here, the bridge starts coming and it'll come down so that we can all walk through it and across it together. I can't leave you guys behind. That's my role. That's my mission. I volunteered to be here to give greater knowledge and insight and wisdom being channeled through me to help everybody. I'm not everybody's cup of coffee, even though it's nice, light, and sweet. But and it's not to say I'm against anybody or I hate other people, which I don't. Um, but I just can't be consumed anymore. I saw the cycle that I was in. I was doing everything for everybody else and I wasn't focused on myself, even though that was my mission at the moment, was to help other people and get everybody together. I totally did not focus on, hey, you need a job. Like, you have bills to pay. Like, money is not limitless and endless. You're gonna have to get a job. And then finally I started kicking my ass and putting applications out there, and I saw that, holy shit, I need a job. Like, oh, this happened and that event happened, and I'm still focused on everybody else and giving everybody else my time. And at the end of the day, I'm like, well, I'm not filling my own cup up and I'm not receiving any fill up from other people. So I had to start focusing on myself. And when I started and released and let go and forgave myself for having the best intentions for everybody, but those that everybody else did not have the best intentions for me per se. I had to take a step back and come into myself. And when I did that, ego death happened, boundaries started coming into place, and then the neutrality thing really like solidified. Corey, you're awesome. You're awesome. And Corey, here's the thing, because I'm going to use you as always as a beautiful example that you are. I see when I'm watching the show, I see you're starting to define things more maturely. Not that you were not mature, but your definitions are starting to be really honed in because they sent you back for a bigger mission. And the only reason why I know that was my angels would have not let me see that they were there to assist you. So you have a lot of work going on, dear, and you're starting to come into your own, and it's beautiful. Thank you, Charlotte. I say that all the time. I say that all the time. Obviously I was raised by Jewish people who were beautiful people. They didn't do anything negative. My family that raised me, that I spent my whole life with, even though I don't talk to them because they're on the blue side, they they don't deserve to leave because they're on the other side of perception. If and I know this is not from a particular person's heart space, but the way it's projected in language, I have a Jewish last name, so therefore, like, the Gestapo should pick me up and send me off because I have a Jewish last name. It's just a religion. And it was hijacked. But It's still source. God said, let there be light. God is omnipotent and omnipresent. Therefore, all things are source and all things have duality. And I'm going to repeat that until my ears get redder and redder. God is all things, good and evil in 3D. So when you learn to understand what their role was to wake you up, when you don't think about them every day and all the time, they fade out of your existence. And those things that no longer serve you a purpose, they're going to fade out of your reality. Oh, Sunray, now you know my pain. I was able to get in on The Time Is Now in the beginning, like normal, saying hi to everybody. And then I get the Wheel of Death, and then I change my browser, and I have to change between Brave, Chrome, and Firefox. Hi, Ivy. So, and then after the Friday Night Live, we had a tornado here. It was confirmed. Not that far, but close enough to me that my backyard needs some work. I need to find a really cheap gazebo top because the gazebo cover ripped to smithereens. Um, my beautiful greenhouse destroyed. Um, yeah, yeah, I don't even care. But yeah, it wasn't that far away from me, the tornado. It was very, very close to Viking's house, and he's not that far away. So, woo, not good at all. So I'm very happy with these overalls so far. So far. Mhm. I still have this to do too. Hmm. That is still wet. How is that still wet? Oh, that's like 3 weeks ago. I got oil paint on my middle finger. Um, I have to feed both my wolves because I know within me I have the light angel and I have the dark angel, the shadow. That's why you have to do your shadow work. I have the light being and the shadow being. They both comprise me. But when you keep them in balance, your whole person, like the ugly aspects of yourself do have to come out once in a while. It's human, right? Like I have to get my adult teacher no to the kids on once in a while, and I scare the crap out of them and make them cry. But it's like, no, you have to know, no, yes and no. And and especially the autistic children, their parents are so frustrated because they don't really investigate what's going on. And I'm not making that a generalization because some of them do, and they're getting their kids aid. But this is all the kids get, the iPad, iPad. They don't take the time to sit with the kid and like work with them. iPad. Oh no, not I have a neighbor whose tree over and it's like literally right here, like right outside the window. There's a tree I'll draw you a picture because I also have to call this 1-800 number because my mower is on recall and I might get a new mower. So here's the tree branch. Make it look like a tree. And then there's this big hunk of tree that's dangling free fall, like dangling. Looks like an A, but the thing is like dangled and it like rocks back and forth and it's right over my backyard. And if the wind comes, that thing is going to either break a window or knock onto my roof. Horrible. Balance is very important. And when we have boundaries and what did I do with that? What did I say with that twat? There we are then, comes out. The See You Next Tuesday from me comes out. The ghetto Staten Islander comes out of me. Because it needs to. Not because I want it to, but people take advantage that are in the lower awareness of people that do nice things usually get fucked over. Hi, that's me. I'm nice and I do a lot for a lot of people without much in back in return. That's why my See You Next Tuesday had to come out. There we are then. Another way of saying I feel like everything with green goes blue. I have to still build my shed. Um, I got my shed and me and Dina were supposed to put it together. And then a lot of stuff happened and then that never took place. And then I asked Viking to help me put it up because I have tools and I put half my house together. I almost everything in here I built myself. So I'm very handy. Viking never did. And then I asked one of Jason's friends and they never showed up. They told me they would and they never showed up. So I'm in like this shed's been sitting here. I do need help with it. It will get done. I'm just not tall. That's what I'm thinking. Miss Wendy. I was thinking I'm a very big purple person. I have purple hair. Love my purple hair. Because the plan is to do the outside that I can't, this is still wet. Can't do anything with that. Um, though I have to say it's easier to clean up oil paint than acrylic paint. And this is so upstairs I did a watercolor of Ethan and Morgan and I figured for a paint and sip I put Freya. I gotta do Odin too, but I used to be 5'6" and now I'm 5'4" and possibly 5'3". You know what, Corey? I do have gold that I could put it in with the purple. Muzzle tough. I have gold paint. It looks like a mustard, but it comes out gold. I did it on the St. Patty's Day fun. Oh, yeah, everything is under my desk. I like have these shelves underneath my desk And what just fell was Dylan Lewis Monroe's information. Oh, I have so much. I'm not. So last year, because of the weather, I kind of waited to do my planting. One of my planters was it was wood and it was a little junky. It needs to be repaired. Let me tell you what, the winds here and the weather, it went from 74 to snow within 12 hours. Make that make sense. And yes, weather manipulation for sure, but what are they hiding? Seriously, I could probably build the frame. I just can't, like, the when it comes to the roof of thus said shed, that's where my problem is gonna come in because of me just being me and being short. And I'm like, Viking, you're pretty tall. Help me. I could probably put the base together. Yee. I'm trying to find what. So don't try this at home without a smock. I'm gonna be a schmuck. Yiddish words. Let's just say today's school lunch was Ghetto Taco Tuesday. It wasn't the good tacos. Mm-mm. It was not good tacos. But I had to eat something. I had to eat something. And then half the kiddos in my class are out with the flu. Uh, who knows what else? And that's the one thing I gotta say about the vid. Um, the one good thing, but it doesn't actually apply here. I wish it did. If your kids are sick, keep them the fuck home. You had kids, they're your responsibility. And yet, these parents send their kids like they need a break. I'm not a babysitter, I'm an educator. Why are you sending your kids in like with pneumonia? There are kids with medical problems that are healthy, but when exposed to thus said pneumonia, could die. And I was hoping that the vid would be the avenue of like, oh, knocking common sense into people, like, oh, we just had this, like, maybe I shouldn't bring my kid to school. Just a thought. Just a thought. I'll keep you out. I need something smaller. Oh, my mom, that she's like, you Mashugana, you Vildakaya. Oh my gosh. And my mom really, I'm just painting this frame, Miss Ivy. I'm putting flowers. Oh, so I'll show you what I have off to the side. I got a full load of these babies. And I got a vase full of these babies, which I have to Mod Podge. And then after I Mod Podge them into the frames, then I can go epoxy them. But I've been trying to not epoxy so much because epoxy is expensive and I don't have the money for it. So, ascension symptoms. Let's look. Corey reminds me, let's look at the Schumann resonance. Okay, so I don't judge anybody else's Schumann resonance readings only because some people are saying there's been a blackout. I would love to know where the blackout has been because I don't see it. But in the last 24 hours, here we are. I know it's so hard to see. There you go. A lot of energy coming in and then coming up. So you're getting hit like this. Downloads and uploads. Mother Earth and universe. They're coming in hot. Um, Sleep has been affecting everybody. Alexander Quinn did put out a really good post about the ascension symptoms. He's on YouTube. Go check his page out because I think that information is very useful. He also channels the Arcturians. Very useful. We're also in Mercury retrograde. Hey. As much as I did not get a letter or an email confirmation that they received my letter of intent to try to get the art job as a teacher, um, um, and my principal just looked at me the other day like weird, and I got very not okay vibes off of him. So I'm not holding my breath, but I'm still gonna go take the test, and if it's meant to be somewhere else, it's meant to be somewhere else. Um, that I didn't want to say too much because I don't want to speak it into the existence, but like he did really put me off the other day. But there's also a situation in my room coming in April where the special ed nurse just quit. So we don't know what's going to happen. And a lot of stress is going to probably fall on me in the next couple of months. And then I'm looking for a summer job because I don't get paid over the summer. So there's just a whole conundrum of shit I am not trying to focus on to lower my vibes. Um, but reality hits. This matrix sucks sometimes, and I have to figure things out. You know, sure, am I going to slow down my laurels and say, oh, silver and gold? Well, guess what? I was never the recipient of having the ability to buy gold and silver. I have some stuff, but it's probably not worth that much. And the stuff that I have, the two pieces that people have gifted me, they're gifts. I don't want to give them up. That's precious to me. And one of those gifts happens to be from Q Crew. So I don't that's one thing like I can't do. You know, I had to get special permission to sell my mother and father's wedding bands and certain pieces of jewelry that my parents, I'm like, look, I'm never going to wear this stuff. Can I pawn it? And I got the answer of yes. Because I was in that much desperity for food and paying my bills. I use, I don't want to fuck the name up. Hang on. I needed a cough anyway. I know. It's seriously, my house is small. It's Let's resin, epoxy resin, and this is a 2-gallon. So there's a gallon of each. So it's from Let's Resin. I've actually have had several different resin companies I've tried to use. And I will show you an example of why. Yeah, let me show you an example of what happens. Hang on. Okay, for those of you who want to epoxy, something for all of you to know, I made this. Okay. When it was finished, it was clear. And it's really hard to see, but it yellowed. This is all supposed to be clear. You're not supposed to have any of that. It's supposed to be clear. And it yellowed. So even though it's solid, it's pretty, it yellowed. That's not cool. That's not what's supposed to happen. So I use different epoxy for that. And the same thing with this. It yellowed. I used the same epoxy. This is supposed to be clear, and for whatever the reason is in the middle, there's like frosties. And I torched the bitch. Yeah, those are big. These okay, so these are the same size, but like I have to say, this is probably $100 in just epoxy alone. And then this guy is sort of clear, but there's a ton of bubbles, and then the back didn't dry properly. So it's like sticky. And yeah, it depends on this is why I don't always pour with the weather, because if my house is not consistent and the humidity has to be a certain way, because when I pour and then I mix and I put heat to it, it has to dry in a nice environment consistently. And yeah, a lot of this stuff can happen when things are not consistent. But I torched the bitch and it's still. So I've used a bunch of epoxy stuff in my past to know, okay, what works and what doesn't work. And you don't really know until after the fact it's dry. And then 5 months later, it starts yellowing. I'm stuck on a wire. Oh yeah, it does. Absolutely. I mean, I try to keep my house as consistent as possible. And with epoxy, I need to keep my house when I'm pouring at 70 degrees, between 68 to 71 degrees. So right now, I think my house is 69. Um, so like the last few weeks, I've been wanting to pour because I have a show and I wanted to do like the card holders. But every time I try to go and pour, like either it's extremely hot, extremely cold, it's raining, it's snowing, the wind is outside, and all these factors dictate the pressure in the air. And I can't waste my epoxy trying. So I usually pour more towards the summer when things are more consistent, and the spring than I do any other season. But epoxy brands also make a huge difference. You know, you can go and get a kit to practice with at like Michael's or Hobby Lobby. They have like the epoxy stuff, but like the epoxy is junk. And then jewelry epoxy is completely different from tabletop stuff. There's high gloss, there is tabletops where the epoxy is different. I actually did in my old house the floor. I did a concrete floor with epoxy for garage. I had a kit and I did my whole entire flooring with it. And then I treated my I didn't have hardwood, plywood. I sanded everything down. I filled all the gaps in with wood glue, and then I put a specific paint on top. And then I did my flooring with the garage epoxy, and it came out freaking fantastic. But that's concrete epoxy. So there's different types of epoxy. Jewelry epoxy, you usually use a UV light epoxy. And that whole setup, a real setup, is expensive. And but that one you have more pliability to making like the gems and stuff. I know someone was asking me to do an agate looking thing, and I tried a few that didn't come out with the epoxy that I use. But it's not the cheapest route to go. I hear noises in my ear all the time. But I'm channeling. Oh, I have some stuff I torch when I see a lot of the bubbles, but I also my torch broke. So that kind of sucks. Um I use a heat gun. I have a heat gun I use. See, I have spirit again, and it's this is not lady stuff, TMI kind of stuff. Cool. So in this frame, once the purple dries, I will put in some flowers and some fun stuff. I have the boxes over there. A few other people, Ashmeyer, have been talking about the popping. I once in a while get popping. I should add gold to this, but I'll wait a minute because that it needs its own self. Yeah, I will definitely look into that. I'll play with that. I was trying when I'm obviously still working with crayons and making like different crayon molds. But like I'm trying different like techniques with crayons to get some drippy action going on. And I tried the blow dryer, like fine-tuned onto a crayon, and then the heat gun. There's some shit in these crayons, I'm telling you what. Ta-da! I want to work with that. I do. But I have a lot of purple paint. I did not sleep. So since Friday having the so after Friday Night Live, seriously knew the weather was incoming, but like 12:30 the sirens went off. I looked at the radar, it was not in my area, it was just for the wind. And then again at 1:30 in the morning, it went off again. And this time louder. And I'm like, all right, Freya, let's get downstairs because now I'm seeing radar and now it's like something is near us. And then it went off again at 2:15 in the morning and 3. I'm like, holy shit. I did not get sleep on Friday night and then woke up to, oh crap. I got some stuff done and then I went on with Turn the Page with Janine. That was like a 2-hour show. And by the time I got off of there, I hopped in the Zoom with everybody because I'm like, okay, my brain's fried right now. My brain is fried. So I basically did not get much studying done over the weekend. On Sunday, I had a private oracle card reading. And then I hopped onto WeNotMe for a little bit. I got my laundry, my dishwashing, cleaned out the cat room, got some reading done, did a video. Exhausting. No, actually, I only am working with the acrylic because the oil paint, I love oil painting. My problem with oil painting is paints are expensive in oil form. Acrylic is barely next to nothing cheap. I like to go to Meyer because their paints are always on clearance. So I get a lot of my paint like next to nothing, and I'll go to Michael's knowing I have a coupon. And I'll get some really, really cheap paint there too. But acrylic paint is the cheapest. Watercolor is a hit or a miss. So I don't like, I have a lot of studying to do with watercolor. I never took the class. Um, Watercolors either is the more expensive, the better you're going to get at a result. The cheaper, it's going to look like crap, depending on what you want, what style you're doing it in. That's just a bold-faced truth. I mean, I could use Crayola color pencils and make a bird just not as good as my Prismacolor set. Prismacolor color pencils shade and blend. Crayola crayon color pencils don't, but I can still make a bird look amazing with whatever you give me. It's just a matter of knowing the technique to get there. Um, Deplorable, don't worry. The exhaustion, go to sleep. My biggest advice to people, if you're tired and you have it within you, go to sleep. Look, I have another frame. I have so much paint. We're gonna paint. Yay. I want to impress that upon people. Your body knows best. Your body is exhausted for a reason. It's upgrading. Um, unless you're like me and this is like ride or die, bitch, get to sleep. I have to do a big dusting. That's something I have to do. Um, the pollen is definitely uptaking in the air right now. Up here, the trees are budding, and this house is a dust magnet. And I already got the spiders. I'm seeing the spiders. I don't hate spiders. I don't I have no harm, no hate against them. They can coexist with me as long as they leave Freya alone. I mean, yeah, if let let me tell you what. Old self used to wake up at 3:30 in the morning. Old self used to get on the express bus at 5 a.m. to get into Manhattan for I started work at 8. Okay. But if you don't leave at a specific time and you're not on the first bus out, you can get stuck in 4 to 5 hours worth of traffic if there's an accident. And there are plenty of times, even in the morning, that I had to call my principal and be like, I don't know if I'm going to make it in on time. I'm stuck on the bus. And obviously, I can't walk out on the bridge and get on a train. You can't do that. So I always left the first bus was at 5 o'clock in the morning. And by the time it got into the city, I would get into Manhattan between 6:15 to 6:30. And then because of the bum population from Bellevue Hospital, I would be in Starbucks. I know hell, oh, it's evil, it's evil. I get it. But it was the safest place for me to sit down and do reading, write in my journal, and relax until my day started. And then I would go to work from 8 to like 2:40 to 3 o'clock. Then I would go crossing Union Square and get on the bus and hope to make it home before 7. Going home was always a long trek. So yeah, I don't miss those days at all. Do not miss those days. But I used to in the morning, used to get a caramel macchiato, and then I would get a venti iced coffee. And then at lunch, I usually would get another venti iced coffee. And then by the time I got home, I would ask my mom to put on a pot because I needed more. So I didn't have the healthiest relationship with coffee. And then after I obviously stopped working and I moved here, I didn't even drink coffee up until now. Hey, Sparky. Actually, the hardest thing to adjust, to be really quite honest, um, I went from Staten Island. I mean, I was working in Manhattan for 9 years and I went to school in Manhattan, like in the same area that I worked in. So I knew moving out here, I needed something similar, but not the same, but I needed something slower, but I needed I still catch myself like the New Yorker, everything in New York is like if you don't get out of the fucking way, someone's gonna bulldoze through you. I'm not joking. You are a tourist on the ferry. Always stay back and let all the Staten Islanders like get the fuck off the because everybody's trying to get off of that boat. Stay back because everybody's running to the bus or the train. Don't get in their way. Stay back and let the ferry like do its thing. In Manhattan, if you're a tourist, here's a hint. Go towards the storefronts, not the street. Let the New Yorkers walk there. Let them do that. They know where they're going. You probably don't. Go towards the stores where the doors are. Walk towards the doors. Do not walk in the middle of the street and go, you're going to get bulldozed. And there's a lot of rude people that you're going to be like, what? No, they're going to kill you. Just walk towards the doors. I have not had lavender vanilla coffee. I'm very picky with my lavender and how strong it is. I like tea too. The thing with tea is I have to really be in the mood for it. And like I had a tea last night because obviously there's stuff going on around again with my school, with the kids, and I know a lot of this is allergies, but I don't want it to turn into something even worse. So I've been drinking tea. Um, but I'm very highly picky with my tea and brands. I don't know why. Couldn't tell you. Oh, I haven't actually been to Starbucks because I can't afford it. Unless one of the ladies like work gives me Starbucks gift cards for $5. You can't get shit for $5 in Starbucks. That's worth a crap. And I'm not a fan of their regular coffee. I'm a caramel macchiato connoisseur. And I like caramel frappuccinos. Yeah, it's all chemical based crap. I YOLO once in this body, so I'm going to indulge when I want to. I don't buy into, oh my God, they're so evil. Everybody's evil. They're all out to get you. They're all going to come after you. They're all going to laugh at you. Anybody know about Carrie, the horror movie? That's where that's from. They're all going to laugh at you. Anybody, Carrie? The psychokinetic psychromancer. What is that called? Where she could put things on fire. Necromancer. You're from Satan. Satan's God. You're pure evil. Ralph from The Simpsons. Okay, so these colors totally remind me of 1990, and I am getting a cadoodle. See, I when I go food shopping, which barely ever happens anymore, the fruit items at like four of the stores around by me look, I don't like the way they look or energetically feel. So I haven't been able to make my smoothies, but I infuse herbal tea. I like hibiscus, blackberry, blueberry tea. And it works really well with Asian white pear tea, which is very hard for me to find out here. Um, so I infuse it, like I heat it up and I put a few bags in and then I let it sit overnight to infuse. I'll take the bags out and then I put that tea, instead of putting milk in making a smoothie, I'll put the tea in. And that tea also hides like the ginger, And the other stuff that I put into, because a lot of stuff is strong for my stomach. Well, so what was interesting today, there was a lot of kids today. So the nurse and me are becoming friends. My old nurse at my school in New York, she sends me all kinds of Trump stuff because she was such a Republican, but she's such a sweetheart. And me and her developed a really good relationship because I was with her. I had a kid that was diabetic. So I would take the kid, and I had another kid with seizures. So she was like my best friend. The nurse that's in my building now, me and her are starting to like click. And she's like, she caught me today and she goes, Allison, you would think these kids got tapped into coffee today because 90% of them are coming in with diarrhea. I'm like, oh, she goes, oh yeah. No, not just like the little Hershey squirts, like Mount Vesuvius is happening, blowing up bathrooms. The poor custodian had to declog 3 toilets today. I'm like, please don't let this come into my room, please. He's just wiping everything down today. I have tried the mushroom coffee. So I do have a sensitivity to mushrooms. Um, Not just the magic type, but like a whole I had all types of different mushrooms. My father was a foodie, my adoptive dad, and he would loves mushrooms. So my mom used to put mushrooms in a lot of the sauces she would make, and even my Italian nonna across the street, she would she would do a lot, and I couldn't figure out what I was allergic to, that every time I had something with mushrooms in it, like close to shock. Uh-huh. Yeah, a lot of gastro, like the stomach flu is in my school. But something with mushrooms does not jive with my system. So I have to be very careful. I don't have a I don't have an EpiPen at this moment because I already know like my adult allergies are bleach. Can't be dyeing my hair. Bleach, soy, can't have soy. It's in everything, so I have to have it lower on the ingredient scale. Um, Anything with sulfur in it. Chlorine dioxide, I'm also very sensitive to. Trust me, Ashmai, school is a breeding ground. I thought one of the kids had chickenpox the other day. Yeah, I don't have an aversion to the taste. I just don't know why. Even my allergist, when I asked him, he's like, who knows? Like, you have some really crazy allergies to things, which I do. Like, there are some like fish I can't eat, but yet I can eat the shellfish, but not all shellfish. Like scallops make me hive. Mussels have made me projectile and hive in but welty hives. Um, Clams and oysters, I don't go into shock, but my throat gets very tight. Um, so there's other, like, I have a lot. My doctor's like, it's not necessarily a food allergy per se as a sensitivity, or chemically something within what's going on in my body does not mesh well with those things. Doesn't mean you're allergic to it. It just your body just takes in certain things. So, you know. It is what it is. Um, everybody, the advice that everybody gives is great, but you got to do what your body is telling you. Not everybody is capable of doing certain things, and I don't judge anybody for doing what they do. I would hope no one judges me. It's my body and I can do what I want. And like I said on I tell people all the time, when it comes to your pineal gland and all these fanciful things that people put out there, sorry, I've had so much scans in my lifetime, okay? They've never shown any calcification on my brain. And they did extensive testing on my brain because no one knew what was wrong with me when before I got diagnosed with arthritis. No one knew what was wrong with me. And I also have nerve damage in my spine. So they did extensive tests, especially on my brain. I don't have a calcified pineal gland. And do you know how much fluoride I was exposed to? I mean, all my teeth are almost gone. So let's be realistic when it's not it when people generalize, let it just be a generalization. Don't apply it to yourself. Everybody's body is functioning and is made to do what their body needs them to do. And under the circumstances of affordability. You know, when I had the money, I was eating extremely healthy. I was growing the lettuce in my backyard. I was growing things and eating it. It was great. But I need animal protein. I can tell you that much. I need animal protein. Like right now, I had to stop the black seed oil and the oregano oil for a month because that also makes you go to the bathroom a lot. And that throws off your kidney and your liver. When it's when you're doing detox, you have to give yourself a break. And now I'm back on it because again, this is here. And I take in the morning my D3, my magnesium, C, B12, and castor oil. And then at the end, when I eat, I take my zinc, and that's hours later. I take my zinc, my L-lysine, my black seed, and my oregano. Because the zinc and the magnesium don't jive in my belly. Ash Maya, where did you get the said aloe vera toothpaste? I am now very inquisitive to this. I use charcoal. Um, I really need my teeth out and my gums need to heal. I can't with my teeth. It's bad. But until those lasers become free for me to get some teeth growing back, yeah, no. Can't afford that crap either. Cannot afford that crap. I mean, I really want dentures, but I need the dentures that I don't have a plate on top that covers my roof. Can't do it. I had braces and I had a retainer. Couldn't talk. And I couldn't clear my sinuses out. So I mm. Um Okay, so that they did a lot of tests for me for fibromyalgia. Um, and I was only 21. Right after, well, so I started getting sick a little after my Sweet 16, and I got my Sweet 16 was in 1999. 1999. Do, 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 do. I had to stop going to dancing school. I was in the height of being a ballerina, doing dance competitions, and hi, Kim, and hi, I ate. What's up? Sorry, I don't have my glasses, so I have to do that too. Um, so I was tap dancing, lyrical, hip hop, modern. I did it all. I had to stop. My knees were the first signs, then the hips. When I graduated high school and I went to college, I was in a lot of pain, but my doctors always attributed to, oh, well, you're waking up really early. You're carrying all these art supplies around in the city, like you're gonna have pain. Explain this to me. Okay, whatever. Then my dad passes away after I graduated college, and I was working as a lifeguard, like just something really triggered me to like, what the hell's wrong with me? I looked down on my toe and it looked like I had a bullseye rash, and I start freaking out. And I'm like, Mom, you have to call the doctor now. Like, after work, I have to go and see if I got bit by a tick. She goes, what? I'm like, my foot is so swollen and so disgusting. I'm like, I know I work at a pool, I work outdoors. I could have been bit at any time or something got me. Go to the doctor, they give me the Lyme disease, all that stuff, and they give me some medication just in case. Blood work shows nothing. The doctor that treated my father for scleroderma, my mom called and made an appointment there. And again, I didn't have health insurance at the time. My dad died. So we had to pay out of pocket. And we didn't get our dad's stuff yet. So my doctor his doctor became my doctor, and he did a battery of tests on me. Within a few weeks after getting those tests, I couldn't pick a pen up. I couldn't use my hands to drink my coffee. I literally had to put straws in everything. I had to have assistance going to the bathroom. I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't walk. The most I could curl my hands was like this. I could not close my hands to make a fist. My feet were swollen and my whole body just deteriorated from there. Um, my rheumatologist started putting me on like, okay, let's do the reduction thing. Are you allergic to something? So I had reduction diets for about 3 months on certain things, like categories of food, and then another 3 months of a category of another food, and then categories of other foods, while going to the immunologist and getting blood work to see what am I allergic to. Did anything change? So my rheumatologist, I liked him because he didn't automatically give me the savior pill. He did not put me on medication. He gave me some diets to try. He gave me the reduction stuff to try. He gave me different avenues to explore before we went on the medicated route. Um, I tried getting with herbalists and I tried, but back in 2001, there wasn't that much out there. 2005 is when I graduated college. There was still not that much stuff out there. So by 2007, I started the crap. I called it crack. I don't remember exactly what year I stopped, but it's been a while. I haven't been on IV treatments in auto injectables or methotrexate in years, and I was on hydroxychloroquine, and that didn't work. Oh, as soon as you say I have allergies, you have autoimmune issues. That's allergies. That's your body not wanting certain things in you. Um, I have thyroid problems. My thyroid has nodules. Nothing cancerous, nothing bad, just they're nodules, they're Epstein-Barr. And then I have rheumatoid arthritis. Well, I don't walk that because I feel fine. No, let's retract that. I'm okay. Like I don't have to have medicine anymore, and I'm not on painkillers anymore. I used to live on painkillers, and not because I was like doing them. Hi, Tara, but because I needed them to function. Bye, Amy. Tara, thank you for having me on. You guys, oh my gosh, that was so special. And she is totally in sync. I love it. I love getting validated. Love validation. Love, love, love. Lovey, lovey, lovey. No, like there's an inner knowing. This is like the progression of me in the last year. I'm okay with death because I know it's just a transcending point. I know that when Morgan passed away, she was 19. She was my second density self. Like she's just another form of me. Just like all the animals that surround me, little Thor outside, like they're just little aspects of me that are just keeping tabs on my own self. Odin was so precious, and so was it Freya. And it was like devastating, not because of his actual, like the whole process sucked. So did Ethan Cat and Morgan Cat. That was like suck ass. Like Ethan out of nowhere had a freaking either a brain tumor or a stroke in grand mal seizure in a room. That's like traumatizing on its own self. Um oh I she knows she's gonna go because Amy's like a very big cat person. She's like us. Um, but Odin, me and the Norse thing, because I have a whole volumes of Norse mythology right there. It's not mythology. And that process between Morgan dying and like me looking for another cat, I didn't think I was gonna get two, but it wasn't out of the question. It was about the affordability. And someone picked up one of the cat's bills so I can get the other one. I was like, okay, cool. Both of those, Freya and Odin were together and they were so scared. They kept to themselves in the back of the cat cafe. And then they thrived when they were here. And it really like sucked to see like he started getting really depressed and I'm like, okay, what's going on? And but he's eating, peeing, and shitting. Fine, I don't see anything wrong with him to where I need to like take money. I don't have to go to the vet. And then just keeping my eyes on tabs on him. And then one day I'm like, whoa, overnight, like, dude, I gotta take you into the vet. And it all transpired the way it did. But she validated the fact that I transcended him, that I crossed him over. Not that they're not going to cross over on their own. All people cross over. Even if they told you, like my uncle who took himself out, one of his fractals was stuck here, and it was more on the conscious side of 3D that got stuck. We're already in spirit. We're already there. So it's a beautiful compendium of understanding. Yeah, he brought me Freya because I definitely needed I need a cat inside and little Flora's outside. Definitely need that combination. I need the spiritual protection. Um, especially oh, I'm coming into my purpose and it's getting scary. Um, yeah, let's just say. I'm sorry, I'm channeling, so I'm tapping into flowers right now. Oh, they smell good. I have the Mod Podge, by the way, peeps. Um, these are cute. Give some contrast. Yeah, so I think what really lingered with me was knowing like I just like adopted him and I wanted to spend time and like get to know the baby. And he was so precious and adorable. And he used to pop up here all the time and I miss that. But like I now know why Freya doesn't come down here because he's here in spirit and she's probably like, what the hell? Um, but it's good to know that I named him perfectly for a reason. My ascended master is Odin. That works through me. As other people have Yeshua, and yes, Yeshua can be channeled through me too. I am the Christ consciousness, but Odin is also a part of that. Um, no, this is not good. Sorry, guys, I'm just picking out flowers at the moment. So yeah, having the experience of the light beings taking me to Asgard over the dome, and then seeing my giant self, and then having an affinity for a culture that I've never visited or been to, but I have an affinity for it. These are the things that when you're starting awakening into your other selves, into the other facets of what makes your soul, is so important. So important. Like if I hang on, I have so many tabby doodles open. I'm going to do this for the sake of doing. So if I take out my pie chart again, the fractals of conscious energy that make your soul up, like this is my chart, your chart's going to look way different. Like I could totally add another tab here and say the Norse. Because I've lived so many, I live in so many of the other dimensional spaces that inhabit Norse culture. I can add that there. Um, yes, Ivy and Amy, you are going to love Tara's channel. She's on Rumble. Um, I will leave a link to the show when I'm done with the live, so you guys can go find it in the links section after the video, after the live. So you can go and get to that video. And I also posted it on my Facebook. So you can find it there too. You guys would definitely mesh very well with her content. And she has Dina, Miss Fabulous Dina, on all the time, which is, she's fantastic. I love my Dina girl. So these are just take it into your mind. You don't have to perceive it just in yourself just yet. You don't have to integrate it within yourself just yet. But just know and realize that your body, your soul is much more than this body. And that all these things are components of what make me up. And there's probably a lot more. You're fractaled into so many things. You're so beautiful. So just know that for yourself. Start somewhere. If you have an affinity for a culture, like a lot of people like Celtic, that's another one of my like concurrent lives where I was I'll just put it in linear space terms because one of my lives, I was in Ireland in a castle overlooking the ocean. I was on a white horse with my sister, who is now my gatekeeper guide. We went in the woods and I would hang herbs to dry. And there was a mouse that had a brass key that I need to figure out what that key is for. I still haven't figured it out. But that was a reoccurring dream since I was a little girl. I have an affinity to finding castles, and Ashmaya helps me because she's from Ireland and she sends me all these beautiful links. Like, oh, go look at this place. But I would like to go there. I know Ivy just came back from Ireland. I'd love to just go there with no reservations and just travel around one day. But each and every one of you most likely has an inkling for something that you're connected to and you don't know why. Like Norse. I don't know why. Odin, Freya, the Ravens, why all of that is enmeshed with me. But then the medium that read me a few years ago, the one that passed over, transcended. See, I'm still human, have to get my language better. He's like, oh, you half your guides are Norse. Like one of your bigger guides is a big black bear. He's bigger than this room, and he comes with a berserker and an axe. I was like, oh, that's cool. What up? And then you have a pack of wolves. And then I have Fae, the fairies. So I got a lot of stuff going on. Amy, there you go. I mean, my soul tricked me into knowing that one of my other selves was Anunnaki and most likely was in Egypt. My name was Ellie Anu, but Ellie Anu. Hopefully, little Thor, he didn't come back today for lunch. He didn't come this morning, but he did eat the dry food I put out. I had Mr. Raccoon last night come to the window and Freya went berserk. Berserk. I didn't get it on film, unfortunately. So what do you have an affinity for? What culture are you interested in? Do you have an affinity, a calling? Your other fractal is probably there right now in another dimensional space. You know, I'm making a little bit more headway also in the holographic universe book. But I can't wait to read Federico Faggine's Irreducible. This guy's a fucking genius. Physicist who is creating quantum panpsychism, quantum panpsychism, not panpsychism on its own. It's quantum. It's different. Um, and he's going to be doing experiments with some philosophers and other physicists to open up the metaphysical to the tangible proof that we need. Some people, I don't need it, but other people need the tangibility of like, oh, how, but Allison, you say all these things are fractal, but what do you, I don't, it doesn't jive yet. Don't worry. If you need the tangible, it's on its way. Somewhere in my birth family, both my mother and my father are Irish, mixed. More Irish on my father's side, obviously. Irish trait is the white hair. I have freckles. I have green eyes. I'm tiny. That's Irish. Um, in this lifetime. Yay! I have a big affinity. But I'm also Scandinavian. And the Irish were known to be also Norse mixed. So I hope one day, with not in my physical body, to go to these places. The affordability is absolutely out of my range right now. I'm just lucky I can afford a cup of coffee. So I'm putting some flowers. I'm going to Mod Podge in here. I'm going to Mod Podge so that the flowers are a little spread out and we have some composition in here. I might add some sprinklies. So interestingly enough, okay, look, I have a ducky. I'm going to do a ducky. Look how cute that is. Um, Growing up, I had dark brown hair. And a lot of people remember me with red hair, and I don't never had red hair. What timeline shift happened back in my time? I had the harmonic convergence happen in 87. I was 4 years old. And then we shifted again, and then we shifted in 1999. And then we shifted in 2001. And then we shifted in 2012. I don't know what people are perceiving me as, but I never had red hair in this consciousness. Maybe in a parallel self. I don't know how cute I would be with red hair. Don't know. Don't want to venture. But my sister in spirit, my spirit guide, she has red hair. I never had the red tint to my hair. You was like dark brown, black. I never had um never had the red tint. Like, interestingly enough, Viking is Scottish and also Irish. He has like a red beard, but his like top of his head is brown. It doesn't make sense. I don't know, the red beard and the brown hair thing. Anybody else know about that? Because I question that all the time. Like, how does that work? I know Bob was curious about, lady parts and hair color. Weirdo. Love you, Bob. But take it to the beard stuff for men, like it's just so weird. I mean, I'm happy with my gray hair because it's wisdom strains. And like everybody at work is like, wait, what? You graduated college when? because you know, a lot of I have to take the praxis test, and I'm like, I have to study, and they're like, aren't you just out of college? I'm like, no, I'm out of college 20 years. I got like everybody gets the puzzle look. I'm like, I'm gonna be 42 years old. No, you're not. Yes, I am. No, you're not. Yes, I am. And I'm like, I'm out of practice in the art verbiage. I have to go. There's so much I have to relearn and remember and recall. Like, it's a lot, especially the new terminology. I'm like, what the fuck process on a camera is that? I know basic photography. I have to use it when I'm taking pictures with my artwork and shutter speed and stuff of the aperture. And so I'm not stupid, but my gosh, some of these terms are batshit banana nuts. I never did printmaking. I did silk screening, which is a little different. I really should put Mod Podge in a spray bottle, shouldn't I? Yes, that's all right. I'm just wanting the flowers to stick down a little bit so they don't float away when I put the epoxy in. It's just bizarre. Like no, but I'm serious. Like if I showed you a picture of Viking, like his hair is brown and his beard is red. It makes no sense. And I'm not against the redhead thing. I just find it very bizarre. I don't know, us Irish people. Okay, I'll show you guys in a sec. It's gonna look like a white pasty mess. And I can do some sprinklies. White pasty mess. The flowers already falling. It'll look better when I put the uh epoxy in. I'm sprinkling some rose. Oh, peony petals. Peony petals. And then the mallow howler. I call them the will-o-wisps. These doodles. But I only use the broken up parts. I still have to do the ones with the epoxy, the ones with the buttons. I hope I have time to do it before Saturday. So Saturday, I will be in a vending event from 9 to 3, and at 5 o'clock, I will be on Turn the Page with Janine's channel with Arnie. He is a gifted Oracle card reader. He's from Queens, New York, so he has an accent. I was told I'm losing my accent. We'll see it. We'll see. I'm just sprinkling stuff. Like, how fun is that? Sprinkly dinkly do. Okay. I think this one's done. It's really hard to see in here. But then I could do family. I bought new ones. Where did I throw them? Oh, they're behind chickens. I have thankful I have to paint. I found the smaller love. I have blessed. And another thankful. It is changing. I don't like that it's changing. I'm not here that long. At all. Seriously. Um, I just hope when I do so I'm doing two events. The event that I'm doing on Saturday is in my school corporation. It's at the middle school, and I'm really hoping that I only have a 6x6 table, but what I'm putting out on the behind rack behind me, the hang rack, and then some of this stuff, I'm doing small stuff. I'm not bringing the big stuff, but I hope someone walks into my purview that can give me an opportunity or solidifies my art teaching job. I'm really putting it out there because I can't keep on doing what I'm doing as much as I love it. It's draining. The circumstances I'm going to be walking into the last 2 months of school is going to be like, it's going to drain me more than I would love. And I can't live off of what I'm making. It's just not feasible. The fact that I have a spring break coming up at the end of March into early April and I don't get paid for the week, I'm not worried. I'm not sitting here and worrying about shit because that's not going to magnetize good things to me. April 5th, I have a event at a healing center. I did the event with Dina in Cedar Lake. She came with me when some of you saw us on Zoom. Hi. I'm doing one at their actual location in their shop. So I will be there, hopefully getting and creating more connections. That's why I put myself out there like I do. And then the library at the end of May didn't get back to me yet, but hopefully they take me back. I sold a lot at that show. Seriously. If I could find a good epoxy mold for a unicorn and then get a hole going through and sneak in a glitter puffer where you can, and glitter comes out of the ass. Hello, mine doing it on it. Sharp glitter. Yes. Totally me, totally doing it. Totally, totally, totally doing it. Totally doing it. I'm also in the midst of doing all of this. I'm writing curriculum just in case, which I was notified today. I need to find the Indiana in educational standards. Okay, I know things are changing, but I still have to present like I'm a normie, right? I'm still in 3D, have to act like as if. I have to act as if. And the as ifness is I have to do what they tell me to do in order to just fly under the radar. Flying under the radar. Mosh Posh Bagosh. You can dry over here. I don't know. I want to do a different color on the outside. Yes. Hi, Eclectic. Okay, cool. I have scissors. Ta-da! Trust me. I need to look into that. I really do. I mean, this would go with my outfit. I don't have a garbage bag down here, which I'm now regretting. Do, do, do. Wheatgrass. Yes. So I have this whole fuzzy wuzzy fun here. Fuzzy wuzzy fun behind me. And I'm once again, I just go with what I don't have anything pre-planned in my brain. I just go for it. I just go for it. There is no thought process that goes in. I just look at stuff and then go, oh, I might want to put them here. So that's what I'm going to do. Ordinarily, I don't Mod Podge at all these. I just throw down a very light layer of epoxy, and then I'll put this stuff in the epoxy. And then I wait a day for it to dry, and then I go back in with another layer, and another layer, and another layer, and another layer. Do 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 do. I know I'm silly. Very silly today. I mean, why not? Today was cray cray. I mean, energy off the charts. Can't use that. Off the chain. Off the chain. Hi, Shirley. Cheryl. Sorry. Told you Shirley. Don't know why. Past life. Oh no. Sorry, guys. I have to send our beloved. What is this app? I have to screenshot. No. I'll show you guys in a second. Miss Dina texted me, by the way. She has a headache. So current events. Shift this a little bit. Okay. There is the Schumann right there. It is a lot. It is the last 24 hours. So guys, just because it is a whiteout, right, but you feel great and you're fine, doesn't mean hours later the energy is going to integrate into you. That's like a misconception. Like, the energy is going to hit you when it hits you. Everybody hits different. Some people, like, I will know, like, now I'm hyper, not just because I had coffee, because the energy is picking up into my frequency. Like, after the reading on Tara's channel, like, I was so freaking hot. Like, I sweated through my dress. I don't sweat that much. I was profusely super hot. Granted, it was 74 out. It was nice and warm, but like my house is the same, like, and not, I'm like fine. I had to go out. I had to go out and literally ground, reuse, use. Like, that's me earlier, putting my hand on the tree and just like I went out, I walked my backyard. I'm like, okay, thank you, Odin, for coming through. Spirit, hi. Okay, you got to give me some breath work here. Leave a because I can't. Sorry. Wow, I'm getting like a ton of people messaging me. It's overwhelming sometimes. Um, you get hearts. Celtic, eclectic, eclectic. Oh, Charlene made them for me. So chicken, these little cute crocheted chickens. I call them chickens. They're probably birds, whatever. So chicken, a while back when I first started out in my classroom, I had unboxed everything, and what was missing was like soothing fidgets for children. So pre-K, a lot of kids put things in their mouths or they break things, they throw things. It's a mess. So I put a call out for people if they have anything from their children or stuff in their house that's basically child proof, like you can throw this and they don't get hurt. And Charlene sent me this humongous box of these beautifully crocheted creations, and I kept a bunch, knowing that if that bunch that I gave to my classroom gets wrecked, like I still have more. So I kept two for down here, and when basically my camera freaks out, I reset it by putting the chicken up there. And that's just me being childlike. Or jerk, however you want to see it. So yeah. All right. Hang on. I wish I could have like a screen of something here to play. I'll be right back. Spirit is calling me for something I have over there. Hang on. Sorry, guys. Feathers. But I had something else and I can't find it. Ah! No, no, you're not the problem. I mean, not at all. Um, I'm in a lot of group texts that just my phone goes bananas. You're not, I'm sure people know that I'm busy. Oh, Ivy, is Joanne's going out of business? Please let me know. Okay, why? I don't know why, but feathers is going on the bottom here. And my big bag of feathers is somewhere, and I don't know where that's what I was looking for, my big bag of feathers, and it's probably over there. But they wanted these feathers. I can't ignore source. Can't ignore. Oh, that's pretty. That's going to be on its own. Oh, that's pretty. You're going over there. So I have these feathers. I'll show you in a sec. Look how pretty. Feathers. Oh, I have to get my ass over there. Um, I get some of my floral stuff from Joann's. Some of their art stuff, I don't know what would be on discount or on clearance. But if you are going in that direction, let me know. Especially oil paints. So like there's cheap oil paints and then there's the expensive ones. I can use either or. But the expensive oil paints are usually $15 to $16 for a little tube. And if it's marked down to $3 to $4, um, I might just have to go to the bank and take a loan out. I mean, I'm gonna have to probably do that anywho's, but I want to know I got this job before I go taking a loan out. Um, I'm not afraid to talk about shit in my life. Um, you know, I'm still waiting on my tax. Yes, I had to put my taxes in because I am that desperate to get something back. If I don't owe, I don't know. Um, I mean, if I owe, I'm not paying it. Can't. Um, right. So I if I get this teaching position, I will be salaried. My hours don't change too much. I'll be like home by 4 or 5 instead of like I get home as soon as I leave work. I'm not that far away, but it's in my building. I really like everybody there. The kids are adorable. Yeah, there's a lot of like kids that have meltdowns, whatever. I can handle that. I do that every day. But it wanted to be in what I went to school for. And I didn't go to school to be a teacher. I went to school just to learn art, and it's my passion. I always wanted to be an art teacher, but do you know how hard it is to get into a school? There's one teacher in elementary school. Unless you're in like a community like mine, that there's 3 elementary schools, and then all the other districts have different like 3 to 5 elementary schools. Your odds of getting in as a teacher is very slim. In New York, it's even worse. Once you're in, they don't leave. I actually used to go to Harbor Freight for like small stuff. But I don't want to go and taking an equity loan out. Like I need a new car really bad. My car's working, but I can't go that far because I don't want to get stuck. That's more money for a tow and a whole head of headaches. Um, Honestly, don't want to take something out without knowing I can pay it back. Right. And I can't rely on what everybody's projecting what the government's going to do financially because I don't necessarily believe in it anymore. I did to an extent, but I think everybody's fixated on concepts that until it is solidified a little bit more for me, I just can't throw my energy out in a hopeful, wishful thinking, like, oh, Nasera Jacera is coming tomorrow. Like we've been I was saying that for the perpetual time on my watch. I haven't seen it yet. This $5,000 you're supposed to get, when is it coming? It could be next year. It could be 3 years from now. I don't fucking know. I can't bank on it. I can't even pay. Wasn't able to pay my property taxes in the fall. And now they're coming back again for spring and they're going to be higher. That's for the right now. I'm channeling to see what else that needs. Um, but like I'm after my move to Indiana, that really showed me how in far people's minds are about certain concepts. They're right into the program. They're into the program. I'm out of the program. Source made me do it. My higher self made me do it. This is not just me being an asshole. This is just as my soul giving me a different direction. And it's not because what people are saying or having hope for the best of humanity isn't a good thing. Of course it is. But I have to be real. Like this is my problem. I live too much in spirit world that I'm not grounded in the human life. I was forced to merge both of them together so that I am not living in the clouds of hope. And like this is going to manifest because I have to come back down to reality to say, okay, I'm on the bridge. I'm up here on the bridge, but not enough of us got up to the top for the drawbridge to come down for us to go to 5D. Most people are in here. Some of us are up here and the bridge is not heavy enough for it to drop. We have to do this together. It's not Allison gets it and no one else does. Relatively, yeah. I haven't really discovered down south, southern Indiana. I'm in the very, very far northwest. I, Well, Ivy, thank you. Whatever you see there. Um, I mean, if you could take pictures and let me know what's going on, because if I go there, I'm in trouble. I don't have any money to spend anyway. It is so hard. And let me tell you something. I want to be that person for the child that was me in high, in seriously, in junior. I have my in my cat room. Maybe next live in the craft live, I will show you. I have my stuff from junior high school. My teacher believed in my talent. She was a phenomenal teacher in junior high school. I did my first animal portrait, my first human portrait, like facial portrait. I did stuff that I didn't even think I could do in junior high school. So the work that I did in junior high, it was what the, and I want to be that teacher to the students in elementary because parents are, parents always feel like, oh, you're never going to have a successful art career unless you are the one in the few that have connections that get big commissions and do big projects. I never was that person. I've always had little tiny group shows in Manhattan. I have shown my work in Manhattan, in the city. I can't say I haven't had a show, but I've never had success in the way that is normalized to an artist. Like everybody asks me, why can't you just open up the online store? Well, because you need insurance to sell your stuff online. Then the online has brokers and you need protection from people. If your artwork hurts somebody or cuts somebody, they could sue you. So you need insurance for that. You need it to be an LLC. By the time you put at least $15,000 into all the insurances and the LLC and all the taxes and everything, what the fuck did you make? That's just reality. People don't think about the inners of making a business, especially art. And it's not like it's something people will buy multiple things of. You can go onto a website and all you need is one unique artwork for your house. Well, how many millions of people are going to do that in one day? It's not at all like that. So art is a niche. Products are, as based is, and it's not a solidified thing. There's insurance, yes, and that's why I don't do a lot of events because they ask me for insurance or my state tax ID. I don't have one. And some states require you to be insured or some vendors with the big events, it require that paperwork. I don't have it. I'm so I found this at okay. I was hoping that our lovely orange man, I'm just gonna call him that, our actor, our 47, would have had the free online courses ready to go so that I didn't have to pay for a test and that I don't have to take the said test. I could go take the course for free and get my free accreditation instead of like people very thankful and blessed that I have people that are helping me out. I should not have to pay for that. Where is this free stuff coming from and when is it going to be implemented? Because there are hundreds of thousands of people out there that are in dire situations and with a few hours online a day, learning some new skill or learning their trade better, could access better stuff for better quality, for better everything. Where's the free schools? I'm waiting. I would love a master's in art education. That's the degree I really wanted, but it wasn't in existence when I went to school. They wanted you to take general ed and then go off on the art. Why do I need a gen ed? I'm not teaching math or reading or science or still social studies. I'm teaching art. So this is like, again, 20 years ago. My art school had the program, but it was very, very small. Right. And it is profit. I'm gonna say though, that stupid piece of paper that hangs up above my little outline right there in kindergarten, it was worth every damn fucking penny. That education that I received that everybody makes and mocks of was worth every fucking damn penny. The professors were getting everything that they were worth. My professors were fucking phenomenal. They were working artists. I showed you guys a few shows ago. Marilyn Minter was one of my professors. Alice Aycock. I had Andrew Genzel, who created the humongous sculpture in Union Square that everybody thought was the debt, what really was the time, and now they changed it. But he did the whole installation. Like that was one of my professors. So I was paying for the cream of the crop to teach me, and fuck, they did. They really helped me. Jerry Saltz of the Village Voice, he was a renowned art critic. He critiqued my work and he gave me some really good feedback, stuff to help me. That critiquing is just another means of helping without putting you down. He was really good. So my degree, even though it didn't get me that far in life, like critical thinking is what art school really is teaching you. I learned metaphysics. I've read Nietzsche in college. I was exposed to Ashia in college. If it wasn't for this college that I went to, as liberal as it was, I wouldn't have had the exposure to the existential philosophy that I needed in order to grow and to think outside of my paradigm, and then getting introduced to another realm of like what the fuckness in Ashiana Dean's work. And I read The Law of One in college. What the what? But I had no idea back then that I was going to be doing all of this now. Zero clue. And all for the life of me, I know Trump said he was going to have free schooling or accreditations. That you didn't have to go to college, you could just take a course online or in person somewhere for free. Would love to know when that's going to happen. But I need the job now, not in 2 years. I'll be on the street in 2 years if that's the case, living out of a suitcase with Freya on the side. I can't have that. And a lot of other people are in my same boat. School is expensive. Every college I called for a master's in art education, which were very minimal schools, period, that have the degree, were like, yeah, it's about $60,000 out of state. And then in state, I can't find a damn thing that's close enough to Northwest Indiana for me to go in person. I mean, we have Purdue here, Indiana University is huge here, but they don't have my program. I like going to school. I mean, I had fun. Who wouldn't want to sit for 6 hours and draw? I loved it. I had a lot of fun. My art history classes are crazy for 3.5 hours, 4 hours. But I mean, I got a lot out of that experience. I'm glad that I went to art school. It made me see the world a whole different way. It made me learn how to analyze things in a whole different way and deconstruct things. That's what artists do. They deconstruct to construct. This is why we're probably going to have this conversation on Turn the Page with Janine, because after I ended on Saturday, it was a very spiritual show. But I was talking to Janine and saying, like, being in education, they're like chopping special ed. And I was talking to my teacher today, and I was like, look at our room. These kids are coming in with a lot of like funds, right? Each kid has a dollar amount attached to them that you're supposed to put into the school. Where the fuck is this money? And that's where I know Doge is coming in and going, okay, like obviously special ed is failing in some districts because the money that is supposed to go to this child isn't going to this child, it's going somewhere else. When the kid coming into my room needs a lot of specific things for that child to function in my room. Like things are on rent. Are you fucking kidding me? And then these organizations that sell some of this crap charging X amount of dollars for what? So there's a whole plethora of fucked up shit going on in education. Absolutely needs to be dismantled. Here's the problem I see with this. Just like this, there is an in-between period. Just like this fucked up a whole fucking 3 years of kids. Now look at all the generations of kids that it just fucked up because we sent them home and we wouldn't allow them to read lips and to learn phonics. And then the deaf kids who rely on reading lips, they're completely lost. So where is the in between? If we knew this was going to happen, where is the smooth transition of things? The kids still need to learn. You can't just take all the especially special ed, and say, oh, you're not getting funded no more, because you're losing nurses that kids rely on that need their feeding tubes flushed or their trachs cleaned, changing kids, dressings, and all kinds of nonsense that happens when you have a kid in a wheelchair, like OTs, PTs, speech. These people are essential to a special ed child. You chopping that off and the school's not understanding that there's a transitional period. Okay, you're now losing our most special kids who are the ones that are upgraded. And I know that the process has to happen, but something needs to be in the in between to supplement it. You can't just chop off funds and not replace it with something, even if the people are blinded by what is actually going on. Yes, even if you know what's going on, these kids still need funds. The school needs to function for these kids. And it's a big problem. If they knew what they were doing, there would be an in-between smooth ride of a transition. But just like this, the kids were not really put into consideration those 3 years. Sorry, that's just my opinion. And the only reason why I know that is because I am seeing it in the schools, even the ones that didn't prioritize this. I went from New York insanity to here. And there's huge differences. There's a choice here where there was not a choice in New York, but even still, there's a big deficit in the kids learning, the kids emotional, social, emotional is beyond. My nurse made a very big observation, and so did the speech therapist. They said, how many more kids now have seizure disorders? It's exponentially expanding at rates that no one ever thought of. They're noticing more kids not being able to feed themselves properly. They're seeing more and more developmentally delays within the kids. Yeah, sure, it's sole choice for the kids, but something is triggering those responses. So those 3 years, those kids lost a lot of learning. In those 3 years, they're just now slowly getting back to a norm. And now all of a sudden, the norm is no longer going to be a norm because now everything's getting chopped. And next year, things are definitely going to be different. So if we're all for 47, and if you're not, that's okay too. But if most people are all about like getting rid of the education and getting rid of this, I'm going to say, are you going to be the ones teaching all the kids in Gary, Indiana? I wouldn't want to be that. Not all the parents out there are able to teach their kids. And most parents are 2, 3 income households, meaning mom and dad have to work 1 or 2 or 3 jobs. They're never home. Until that system changes, they don't preach the homeschool thing unless you have have a stable income. But most of these people out here, I wouldn't want my kid home with half of these parents. And no offense to the parents, they're not home. And some of them don't have the best circumstances. So if I want to say we're watching a movie, sure. I am no longer in the movie because I am not drawing my attention to all the things that I was told that were going to happen and we're still waiting for it. And we're still waiting for it and still waiting for it and still waiting and still waiting. It's a fucking cycle. I'm out. If it happens, fucking fantastic. I'll be online getting my free degree. Thank you. My money, tax wise. If something happens to be dropped in my mailbox and it's a check for a nice amount, great. But I'm not going to sit on my laurels and not do something about my life. And right now, I can't wait any longer for somebody to show up. Yeah, and that's the one thing I had to come into terms with living in spirit land so much. Like here is reality and I have to meet reality halfway. We're still on a 3D plane of existence. I don't have to play into duality because I know it exists, but I don't have to play the game. I could choose what I want in my reality. What I feed myself in my everyday life is my reality. So what I'm choosing to do is better my life, regardless if things are happening or not. I have to put the energy out there to receive it back. I can't wait on some guy to sign an executive order to saying, oh, everything's going back to the States. Okay. And that's another process it's going to have to be. That's what me and the other para, Mr. Soldier, who was like, why is the moon out when the sun's out? They're not telling you why military time is a 24-hour instead of a 12. Hi. Wink, wink, wink. I mean, that was the best I hope he's back in my room tomorrow. He wasn't in work today. I honestly wish there's so much more I want to ask him. Um, you knew about Area 51? I'm like, do you know about S2? Do you know about the DUMBs? Do you know about this tech and that project and this project? And my gosh. Oh, thank you, Ivy. Um, so I totally looked Indiana today. Um, I think it's just worth noting why I started delineating myself from the political stuff. And yeah, knowing about Antarctica and the dome and that stuff is great. But does it affect my everyday life? No, I have to wake up, go to the bathroom, drink my coffee, take showers, dress myself, and go to work. Does my day get affected that it's a flat earth or a globe earth? If I wake up every day with a smile and a cat on my chest purring, does it really matter if it's flat or not? There's a difference between your ego and your soul. When you need to know because your ego wants it to be there, because you have to prove it to somebody, to when your soul is just like, it's everything's God's plan. God's plan. God wins at all the time. God always wins. It's just a matter of what aspect the source won in 3D. You know, also you have to take into consideration the spiritual battle that everybody talks about. It's an illusion. That's something also I had to get over. I had to get over it. Spiritual war. Oh my God, the light versus the dark. The fallen angels are here. The Nephilim are coming. The Nephilim are coming. The Anunnaki's coming. Okay, great. Spiritual battle is an illusion that you create for yourself. Fun fact. I that dropped into my consciousness 2 days ago. What battle? What battle? Please explain to me the battle. So here's linear thinking, duality. The demons versus angels. This is a program that has been slipped into religion, and not just Catholicism, it almost every one of them. It's the entities coming down and seeding wisdom and knowledge, and they came in their spaceships and pew 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 pew. We're gonna take over your land. I'm not saying that that hasn't happened. Is it really how it was actually projected to people's consciousness? Or is it a fucking made up crap for you to be programmed? Have a good night, Wendy. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I'm being serious. I'm not here to make fun of anybody. I fell for it too. Like, I only talk about this because I went through this. I had to realize the wars within myself, the dark shadow component and my light component were at ego battle. And when I learned how to go within and balance out that shadow and that light and bring it together and mesh it together in unity, a lot of the concepts that are being fed out there are totally falling away. Yes, it looks like, and in reality here, there are people that do heinous crap. I get that. There's no illusion to that. People do die, but it was a contract they signed up for. That's a role that they chose to play in the movie. It's just a movie. It's a theme. We all chose to come and play. Oh, my water's still cold. We still have to live our 3D lives. I'm playing with colors. I'm trying to think of colors because it's chrome. There's like a mirror finish kind of thing, but it didn't hit all the spots. I'm sitting on it. But I want you guys to realize, right? Like the war's within you. The ego death, the ego does not want to detach itself at all. It wants you to, it wants the old self. It doesn't want to let go to make room. It's clinging on. That's not the dark side. That's your ego. So I don't know who follows blah, 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 blah. I'm trying to find it. Gala Gaia. Anybody follow Gala Gaia? Um Jenny Lee, I think, is on Gala Gaia. Plectic, put it in the chat. And you can also drop it in the comments. The comment section. I mean, the live chat will come back up, so if people want to read through it, but post a link. I'm still hunting down Arnie to post his stuff, his information. More than happy to share it. So if anybody watches Gala Gaia on I forgot what show what channel, Odyssey or whatever. So she on her Facebook posted a list. Remember those lists of who's bad and who's good? And who's deceiving you? And then I started reading the comments and I'm like, for fuck's sakes, go within. I'm going to read you what I wrote on her comment section. And it's not because Gail is a bad person. She's not. You know, people post things sometimes unconsciously, either to get a rise out of you or to feed some aspect of their need. All is perception, and you will only know what paradigm and dimension you exist in when you go inside to know what aligns with you. Light and dark are a 3D limitation and separation to help us grow. If your mind expanded, you'll see the agendas, programs, and narrative steering. You can choose what info meshes with you. Otherwise, I choose neutrality and balance. I take what serves my soul's information and leave the rest. As we are all one entanglement, playing roles for each other to learn. Free will, you choose who you tune into. When you move up consciously, you see its illusion for lessons and learning. Sides leave the picture. So choosing your sides. Bye-bye. Then I wrote again because there's more people that are still very stuck, and hopefully my seedings help. Truth is a perception where one is at in frequency and vibration. When you go within and stop allowing others to dictate to you what to believe, you will align in your heart, the frequency raises, and more information becomes available to you. Take the eagle eye view, look down objectively. All those on and off the list serves a purpose. Let them be a lesson or a test. You control what rents space in your brain. When you let go of judgment, shame, and blame and see it as experience, you need to grow your soul for the things you prefer over the things you don't. You hit another level of mastery. All serves a purpose. All has a purpose. It fades away in your reality when you say it does. That's true. 5D will be a hard frequency to obtain when you don't go within and know thyself in divinity sense. And I wrote that in the message comments. There is no free passes to 5D. There's just no free passes. And it's not to say everybody's going to do their transition and their transmutation and their transcending differently. I'm not here to judge how anybody here is going to transcend and ascend. I'm not here to judge you for that. I'm here to help you realize a bigger, expanded version of just what I perceive. That's why we're all needed, because we all perceive reality differently. And each of us is a little kink in the puzzle piece that when we all put ourselves together, we create a beautiful picture of understanding. What I know to someone else's knowing is completely different, but there's similarities with a lot of people right now talking. I'm not stuck anymore in a cycle. I'm out of the loop. I'm spiraling up. I'm trying to get out of this bitch. And so many of us are too. We still have to live a 3D life. So we have to be wiser enough to think, what is serving my best and highest? Is it waiting for files to be given out? Why are you waiting? You know the information already. You know the truth. Are you waiting for the normies to find out if they even care who killed JFK? We know the truth already. And even if it's a white lie in some aspects, we know a lot more than we need a document to tell us if you use your intuition. When my mom and dad channeled through the medium to come to me to give me a message, like they said, I am going to have to work the rest of my life. Hard. Does that show me that I'm getting a whole kickback of money, that everything is going to be fucking rosy and I won't have challenges to go through and I won't have the need for things? That doesn't mean any of that. That means I'm going to have a fucking job and I'm going to have to work. It's not because someone's handing me $1 million and my whole life is going to change. That's not how that works. That's not what we signed up for. As nice as it would be. Oh, hello. Absolutely. Absolutely, Sparky. Absolutely. The details in the understanding, though, the universe has laws of nature. You can call it the Hermetic principles, you can call it whatever you would like and give a label to it. There are certain laws that we're bound by. in different dimensional spaces and different realities. They kind of merge and shift in different ways. But the overall understanding is pretty much very similar. There's no free passes in this life. We all chose to be here to overcome extremes. That's what we chose. We chose difficulty. Why? We won't have to do it again. We're getting the hardest of all the hardest. That chick Sunglow girl that does the rods, dowsing rods. Sorry, that I have them upstairs. The rods that cross. I once in a while when I catch her and it's a good one, I will post it if I align with it. There's some good shit that she asks. Hi, Eric. There's some really good stuff that she exposes. Depends what energy she taps into. Nothing's outside of yourself. You already know the truth. It's in you. You just have to remember. There is a veil of forgetting. You come here to forget so that you can learn how to empower yourself to understand where you were. Many of us have done this dance multiple times in different paradigms and parallel universes. We did this before. We just choose different themes and different shells to have those experiences in. I know a few people have been telling me that they're getting, like, they're seeing themselves as other forms. They're seeing themselves when they're doing in their dream state. They're getting their blue self. They're seeing their Arcturian self. They're seeing the other parts of them. It's beautiful. Don't deny it. Integrate with it. So I got this today that I got done. It's still drying. And hopefully I can put family. I might do this the dark blue oil painted family and put some epoxy in it. And then I'm still working on what I want. I have feathers. I'm figuring out. I'm not done with that one. And then the last paint and sip, I did watercolor with Ethan and Morgan Cat. So I replicated it in an acrylic painting. The energy is batshit crazy. Just know that. I'm looking to see if there's anything else I need to read. I totally think I think someone was trying to hack my Facebook. So unless you really know me, if you get messages like, oh, add me as a friend, that's not me. Someone's cloning my shit. Just by the way. All right, in the last hour, we're right here. We're getting little like little light spikies. And they're going all the way down. So red is also high intensity. Oh, I know I still have to do the wolf. I have to actually get a better representation of the wolf because I want to work with that. Um, they're my spirit guides. So is now Odin Cat. So happy for Tara inviting me on her show. Thank you, Tara. I don't think you're probably on. Um, please go check out Sacred Valley on Rumble. I will post it in the show links. You get to see me get a reading from the fabulous Anita. Yeah, I mean, you have to, Source is playing every scenario out. This is something that a few years ago, like a little before I found out about my Stargate, I was really looking into different types of meditation. Um, because obviously I was home and I only did online school stuff and I got paid. But then I had the rest of the day and like there was no going out or doing anything. So I did a lot of meditation. I did a meditation where I would place myself in Times Square. And then I would have to project myself into every scenario as much as I possibly can. So the guy that's the entrepreneur, CEO of a corporation, I would be him looking out the window at the New York City skyline. Then I would zip my consciousness to the homeless person with the dog outside in front of Dwayne Reed. And then I would see myself as a cab driver in the middle of the craziness of kamikaze drivers. And then I put myself as the hip hop kid walking down the block eating a slice of pizza. To the person sitting in the in the cafe drinking coffee and having a baguette. I did this with just about every scenario you could possibly think of that could be in Times Square. Just sitting in my light body, starting to project myself into all other people walking down the block. And I would do this every so often and get more of an understanding of why people play the roles that they do or why they signed up for those roles. Obviously, the person sitting on the street needs to overcome something major to make a big shift in their soul. I know it I if you do meditation, I would really it's just good to observe. You don't even have it's just I'm not judging you at all. I don't judge anybody anymore. Um because I've asked the same questions. Like I'm like, why is that person still wearing that? Like what I have people in my school that still wear this. I'm like, why are you what's the fear? What's the fear? It's not going to stop the flu from getting into you. Like, make it make sense to me. There's so many reasons to like I did the same thing with my parents. I'm like, why would my mom want to choose to be 400 pounds? Like, why would she want that? What did she benefit from that? Why did my father choose to have a very fatal, horrific death? Like, these are the things I've always questioned. Obviously, I used to get off my express bus at 6 o'clock in the morning with all the lunatics that got let out of Bellevue Psychiatric Hospital and the homeless shelters. They let everybody out at a certain time and you have to leave. So let me tell you something. I attract crazy and lunaticy people, Tourette's, people that are not here. I'm not judging them, but I attract them. And I used to attract a lot of very, very, very scary people that used to run up to my face and say some crazy shit. And I would have to talk and do crazy shit back so that they would leave me alone. And in one of my meditations, I asked myself to like put myself in that person's shoes to see what the hell was going on. Why would they want that for themselves? And it's just an overcoming of their own obstacles, and they didn't get that far in their learning. You know, it's source running itself through everybody. And I, up until going into neutrality, I judged. It's not an easy thing to stop judging. It really isn't. And even to this day, I do the same thing. I'm like, I hold myself back. I'm like, Allison, that's source. Why are you judging? Okay. Yeah. FAFO. Woo! That's exactly right. FAFO. I have that shirt. I do. I have that shirt. It's somewhere in my closet. I have to find it because I definitely would wear it. But there's always a reason for all things. And there's a reason why we're all walking around this universe in our circumstances. It's just if you could do those meditations, I really highly recommend them. It gives you like a humbled perception of like, oh, I don't have it that bad. Even though it feels bad, like in my situation, like this is bad. I'm like over the cliff. I already jumped. This sucks. How do I climb back onto to safe land? That's where I'm at. It's not an easy task. Yeah, I mean, we're human and it's going to happen. And the mastery comes in when you can stop yourself in your tracks when you're doing it and retract it back and transmute. That's the hard part. And that's where a lot of people are stuck is being cognizant that it's happening. But I still do it. You know, and even like I had to apologize to my nurse today. I'm like, look, I'm not here I hate to complain. That's like something I used to do and it got me nowhere. And I said, but I just want you to know that I wasn't told all the truth about what is coming into my room. I wasn't given the opportunity to have a say in any of the things that I'm going to have to do. Like, you should be talking to the person that's going to perform the tasks, not the teacher, not this person, and not that person. The one that's really going to be doing the work needs to be spoken to. And no one has spoken to me besides my teacher. She's new. She doesn't understand what goes on. And they're not telling me a full picture. So I said to her, can you imagine my frustration? And she goes, no, I totally get it. And I'm like, I'm not here to like keep pounding a dead horse. I'm not here to do that. But I have to protect myself. It's not because I don't want a child in my room. It's because the scenario doesn't fit it. You know, are you cognizant that you're complaining? I know I am, and I don't like it. I don't like complaining. And honestly, that's how I really healed my body. I stopped complaining that I was in pain. No one cared. When I was down and out and my mom got me the acorn stair lift and I got the walker and the cane and all the wraps and braces and this, that, and the other thing. No, I looked fine, so no one thought I was sick. I was once I got a little bit better and I was on medication after I tried everything else. Like all the guys in a tattoo shop, like, you don't look sick. What's your problem? I'll like look at my hand and how inflamed it is. Does this look normal? And you're like, oh. I'm like, yeah, but that doesn't happen all the time. I'm in pain 98% of the day. What do you want from me? You know, the old people at the YMCA when I was lifeguarding, they're like, "Oh, you're so young. How can you have arthritis? What are you talking about? You're in pain. What are you talking about? You have Raynaud's syndrome and your hands are puffy." No, no. And then I would show them my kneecap inflamed, and they were like, "Oh, you're not lying. Oh, I can't lie to you. I have to be authentic. I am not a liar. I can't lie. It's not a part of my DNA. I got to tell it to you. There's no sugarcoating shit either. I that opens up people. That's why I'm a test. I challenge paradigms. I challenge perception. And it's not an easy thing to do when you've been programmed in a specific way. And I'm here now trying to unravel your paradigm to say, hey, at the end of the day, when 9/11 was in the midst of happening and I was in the city and I people were like fucking didn't know if the sky was falling, literally, you were not asking for someone's ID to see if they were transgendered, if a guy was wearing a bra and pair of girl panties under their outfit. You were not asking if someone was Muslim or Jewish. You were just helping people because you're human. You weren't judging. Everybody was in chaos, and in that moment, you weren't worried if someone was a child molester. You don't would how would you know? How would you know if someone's Jewish? It's a religion. How would you know if someone's Muslim? Unless they wore their hijab. Everybody that day let it go and just was there to help. They didn't, doesn't matter who was there. Everybody was helping. Everybody. We need to get back to that concept, but it shouldn't happen in a catastrophe that everybody stops what they're doing and stop labeling everybody and picking out God as if God's in all things. It's all things, not just what you prefer. And that's something I had to learn. Sure, I'm on the side of light, but I still have to respect the dark. It exists for a reason. Once I know that, I don't give it energy anymore. I'm like, hi. Ashmaya, absolutely. And that's what gets a lot of people in trouble by making those assumptions on other people. You don't know unless you really know somebody in depth, and we really only know ourselves that far deep down. A lot of people project a lot of crap on me. Have fun. Doesn't affect me anymore. It used to. Not worried about it. Um, we have to do as a society a big change. And thankfully, a lot of people are waking up in terms of understanding a little bit more of the expansion and thinking. We have shifted a whole fuck ton in the last 3 to 4 years, where events that were foretold are not going to happen because we outgrew them. We don't need those cataclysmic things to make a change in the universe. We shifted out of those paradigms because we can handle more. And we don't need those catastrophes to happen because we've learned already. We don't need them as catalysts anymore. So we have done a lot as a humanity together to get out of those cataclysmic negative timelines. And negative only in the sense of like 9/11 events. A lot of negative things were supposed to happen and it never did because we're raising the frequency of the planet. So all of you, thank you for doing the work. We're not perfect. I'm totally not perfect. I still have my flaws. I still have my challenges each day, but I show up for myself each and every day. I am trying to get creative. I'm putting out artwork. I'm being creative. I'm putting my creative brain into practice. Why? Because I'm not focused on shit that doesn't really affect me and that it's consuming people that I just can't be consumed by that stuff anymore. For at least 5 years, I was nonstop listening to podcasts. You know what I could have been doing in that time? Writing a book. I was nonstop getting information. Was I really bringing the information within? I was allowing other people without, unbeknownst to me, allowing them and their perceptions to dictate how I perceive the world. The real challenge was when I had more of a spiritual upgrade, did I really need that information anymore? What you already know, you know, and then intuitively you're going to pick up more. And once you know something, it needs to go. You know it already. It collects in that data bank in your physical. We're human. We're going to have falls. We're going to make mistakes. It's how we react to the overcoming those mistakes, holding ourselves accountable in a graceful way, not in a judgmental, you're in it, calling yourself all the negative things that we are attuned to doing. No, I made a fucky. Oopsie. Sorry. All right, let's move forward. I let it go. I don't sit in the guilt anymore. And you guys shouldn't either. Everybody's evolving differently and everybody's shifting differently. People think differently. But at the end of the day, are you the one wearing the mask? Just using Sparky's information? Are you the one? No, so don't let it affect you because it's not affecting you. It's affecting them. Just let it. That's what they want to do you, boo. If that person wants to be a psychopath, let them be a psychopath. There's avenues of getting help. I tried to help people, and guess what? If they don't want to be helped, I move on. Not because I don't love them, but because they're not ready for the help yet. It's a waste of energy. It's graceful to start walking your truth and still having the flaws that we all do. Don't beat yourself up over them. I make mistakes. I'm not perfect, but I strive each and every day to wake up like I am the ascended master that I know that I am, incarnate. And I try to do the best that I can to help steer higher consciousness. That's all I can do. If I were to think about what I am and take the responsibility for the what I am, that I am, I'm going to move through this life as if I'm Jesus or Source itself. I'm going to do as much as I can for everybody that walks in my pathway with boundaries. I'm going to do everything that I can in a non-judgmental way because I am guiding any and all, no matter what path they choose. It's not the path I'm walking. They get to walk their own path. That's great. But I'm not going to sit down and allow certain things to fall into my consciousness that will distort it. And that will lower my frequency. Find the things that uplift your life. Do different things. I hope that some of you are taking the advice of getting both your lobes of your brain to work in tandem together. Write with both hands. Write with your non-dominant hand, even if it's just a doodle. I'm ambidextrous, so I have more pliability with the left hand, but I'm a dominant right. Do different things. Do different things. Switch things up. I challenge people to be creative. You don't have to go to art school to be an artist. What did I do today? I put some paint in a box and I put some flowers in there. Anybody could do that. I'm not sitting here and doing a Rembrandt or doing a portrait. And it would leave everybody freaking banana lost. Right? I'm doing things that I feel that most people can do. Simplistically. Like I put installation foam on a canvas, sprayed it with spray paint, and then I put some Mosh Podge down and put some wheatgrass and some feathers there. I'm not done with this. But if I didn't explore with my creativity, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't have created that. And it's not going to be, for some of the stuff that I do, I'm not happy with some of the paint. I'm like ashamed of myself because I know I could do better. But it's not the point. It's the process of doing. Right? If you were to watch Bob Ross, you think your first Bob Ross impersonation painting is going to look like his? No, it's not. And if it does, like, whoa, good for you. But just be realistic. Go and find the things that you may get a loving for. On Tara's show today, like me playing an instrument, I'm like, I listen to a lot of like Viking music in the house, meditative Viking-esque folk music. But I also listen to heavy metal too, and I have an eclectic library of music I listen to. But me playing an instrument, I'm like, well, I have my drums, my shamanic drums, and then I have my whimsical chimes, and I have a kalimba and a drum, right? But like at the same time, like an instrument, well, you know, I can sort of, I had played the trumpet in elementary school. See, archery, like my dad, my biological dad has a crossbow for me, but he also has some other bows. When I went down to Georgia, my problem is my shoulder and my arthritis is like getting I'm muscular. I can get butchy. Um, but like getting that out and back is a problem for me. I don't know if that was a gunshot or a truck. It didn't sound pleasant. Oh, that's pretty cool. Like someone asked me when and because I have a pew, I love pew pews, but I also have a lot of I like weapons. Um, I'm not about the animal doing anything to the animals unless I am starving and I am like, living off the land kind of thing. But then I would have to telepathically ask the animal, like, you know, and pray with it and send it on, transcend it. Um, but I would never do it to an animal unless I had to. But I like targets. And that doesn't mean people either. Like I like target practice. I like shooting like bottles and stuff. I think that's fun. Um, it's a night shooting for me is a big stress reliever. Like earlier in my life, I used to go to mosh pits and I used to be amongst the guys getting pummeled but that was like the biggest release of energy for me was to be in those things and like just get it out. When you get older, you can't just jump yourself in. You're gonna get really hurt. But like shooting and stuff like that, it's like a big release of energy. Not just from the object that you're doing it from, but like from your body energetically. It's like a big release. Um, a lot of us need that right now. Like today, going on Tara's show, like just come running home from work and I am sweating and I'm sitting and spirit is coming down with more hot heat and I'm like overwhelmed. I'm like, oh my God. I had to go outside and like literally put my hands on the trees and like move around my property and like get like if I could have shot a gun and like get that release out, that would have been fantastic. But look, be realistic. Oh, that's awesome. I'll totally check that out. Yeah, if you guys have links to things, please put them in the comments so that we can go back to the comment section. This is like live chat. There is a comment section. Leave your links there because that helps everybody else find it. And I do have a lot of people that watch the show like after the fact. So people are going to sleep early or whatever have you, have lives. Please don't stop your life to listen to me. Um, anything that you have, please put it in the comments. I'm more than happy. My biggest Amish mindset, guys, is if I can help you out in any way possible, is sharing the information, and that could be done in the links. Like I'm going to post a Sacred Valley link when this live is done, which is going to be in a minute or two, in the description, so you can go back and watch me get a reading from Anita. Um, I have to go to a range because I am not talking to Viking at the moment. So I don't have a farm in the middle of the woods to go to pew pew. But there's a nice range when I have money because ammo is expensive. And my birthday's in a month, a little less than a month now. If I do find out I land this job and I take a loan out so that I could sustain at least for the summer if I don't find a job. Another monkey wrench. Um, but I will have a salary. I might give myself a big birthday present with getting an M4 rose that will match my 9mm. But I've been looking for something. So yeah. Yeah, I have to find a bow though that because my father had a plethora of them that he was willing to give to me, but my problem is with my arthritis, and that's not because I'm not healed. It's just like physiologically for me doing that, it's painful. I need something that really doesn't have too much of a, it's just easy to pull back. And I don't have to sit there going, yeah, well, yeah. Staten Island had an archery range in the park I used to go meditate in. And I had a few friends that had some bows and stuff. I wasn't able to draw them either. Yeah, it depends on the day with me. Depends on the day. Fun time. So, Schumann Resonance has been spiking. Please take care of your spiritual self. Um, I know a lot of people are complaining about headaches. You're purging. Drink more water. Have electrolytes. I've been introducing the electrolyte thing into my system. It's helping. Lemon water. I have to find cleaner lemons because the lemons here, I don't know what's going on. Um, yeah, like it's definitely for me, even if I do my left hand, it's more about the shoulder blade in the back. Even if it's going like halfway, right? It's still this motion in my back. And the reason why I wouldn't I'm better with my left hand with certain things, but I have very bad nerve damage in my upper back. So I try to steer clear of things that hurt the back, even though you're using your arm muscles. Um, I have a very bad storm incoming tomorrow after when I get like from when I'm at work to when I get home. I don't know what's going on with me posting a video. We'll see what happens, but it's going to be high winds and then more tornado warnings around here. Severe weather here. Um, so just be mindful if I don't post. I'm probably fine. I'll post on Facebook. Like we did have a tornado here and it was very close by to here. So not fun. I will try to have it out. I will be live on Friday. Just don't know what time yet. And then Saturday, I probably won't be doing a video, but I will be on Turn the Page with Janine around 5 Central with Arnie. And I don't know what we're talking about, but we're going to be talking about something, probably spiritual. So I, since last Saturday being on with Turn the Page with Janine, I will most likely be doing more shows on her channel. So check me out over there. Please subscribe to her. Sacred Valley on Rumble is where Tara had the animal psychic. Tara goes in and out of doing shows, but please go support her. And both of them are on my list of people, like where I say where I'm at. I'm usually in the places like Jack Breaks Out, WeNotMe, Turn the Page with Janine, Sacred Valley. And then Woman of the Stars is my friend Erica. She does the galactic stuff. And she does it with Terry, the light worker who put me in a trance. That helped me close the Stargate. So I have some people that I watch that are friends of mine. I know them personally. So I have all those links there. Well, where you can find them there. Links change all the time. This is a work in progress. I am still going through that charcuterie board. I will be tinkering more ideas because I definitely want to get it as a waterfall. I just have to think about a different technique to get it there. I'm going to be epoxying hopefully tomorrow a lot of these that I have. I have the button ones too that I did last week. Anything else? Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I know Little Thor videos, like the last 2 days, I'm not getting lots of views, but then one day it was like 700 people. I don't understand how that works. I care not. Oh, enjoy your bath. I got to do that too. I love baths. Hopefully this stays as me talking and I don't lose my voice again. Again, thank you to each and every one of you that have shown up for me. I appreciate you. Gratitude to everybody. I wouldn't be here without all of you. And if I was here, it would just be me talking. It would be boring. So thank you for all of you that contribute to the love, the light, the healing in the chat, the support for everybody in the chat. It is so important because I'm not the only conduit of healing. All of you are as well. So I will be live on Friday. Saturday I'll be on with Turn the Page with Janine, but I have a vending event. I'll tell you guys how that goes. I'm going to try to take my zinc and all that other fun stuff. Sending each and every one of you love, light, compassion, grace, shielding, and protective energy. Please go within. Be the shoulder. Be the lighthouse. Seed your truths. I hope to see you guys on the next one. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being the light. Light the path forward for others and yourself. And I hope to see you guys soon. Hopefully Friday. Until the next time, guys, have a beautiful and blessed night and day wherever you are.